All right, I'm trying something a little bit different this evening. I gave an hour notice, at least I hope I did. I scheduled this an hour ago to go live at 7:30 to share some of my favorite or our favorite astro images over the last 9 years that we've been doing this hobby. And our new cameras that we kind of had a faux pas with last week, I learned that I could use it as a webcam. So that's what I'm doing here. So I'm trying to use it in tandem with my microphone. And oh, yay. Hi, JS Wyman. Can you hear me okay? Everything going okay? Because this is like a whole new test. Let me know if you can hear me. But yeah, we're going to go through some of our favorite pictures we've ever taken. And like I said, I've got this working in tandem with my mic and excellent. Okay, so I'm going to be going back and forth. So I basically am kind of doing like, we tried to hook up a second like monitor thing to my laptop here, and it just wasn't going well. So, and I'm going to tell you in advance, the lighting is going to change. I've got the curtain open up here. So the blue is going to eventually go away, but whatever. We'd like to do things naturally here. So that's how we're going to go. But yeah, so we're going to go over before I got this live ready, I got on my computer for 30 minutes and I went through my folders, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I don't have all of the data. I didn't go through and find, how many pictures at what exposures for, what time of year. I didn't do all of that work because it's just such a huge amount of work. I ended up putting 29 images into a folder. And so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through them all. Some of them, if you've been here for a while following me here on my channel, you will see repeats, especially the most recent ones where, up in last year we were shooting and I was sharing and all of that. But I'm going to go further back in time. So why don't we start, just to see if anybody else can, kind of comes in late or whatever. Why don't we just start with some of our favorite, more recent images that I know that I've shared here on YouTube, and then we'll kind of go back in time a little bit. Now, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to remember how to share my screen and do it properly, but no promises here. So I'm going to do a quick test on sharing my screen and bringing up an image, and then I'm going to come back in here. So JS Wyman, I am counting on you to let me know if things are working as expected, because until I get an actual second monitor, which I do want to do, we're just going to kind of have to fumble our way through a little bit. So, okay, here, let me see. So I know that it was here. Yeah, the pressure. the present. Okay, share screen. Or it's present. I said present. I'm telling you. Okay, we're going to do that entire screen. Click on it and share. Okay, so now you should be able to see my whole screen. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of this and I'm going to go to my desktop here. And this is the folder I did for this. Let's pull up the California Nebula, as this was one of my more recent images. I did this one last fall. This was one night. I know that. I don't remember the exposure times. It might have been 600 seconds or 450s. Can't remember the filters I had on it. Like I said, I'm not going to go to all the trouble of finding all of that information for each picture. It's just too hard. But can you see this the way that I'm sharing it here? So I want you to let me know if this is something you can see. I'm going to come back in here and see. Okay, so you can see. Great. So we've got the California Nebula. Now, one thing that I really loved about this picture, well, there were a couple of things, and I remember pointing it out in the past before. And I don't know how, this laptop and the way they do screen sharing, I don't know how clear everything's going to be. So I'll try to zoom in rather slowly for pixelation reasons and buffering and all of that fun stuff. But I loved some of these little dark, I hope you can see my mouse, some of these little dark areas where it almost looks like air is being released, or there's like a vacuum going on, something. And then these little, like almost these glowing stars. The one that I remember the best about this one was this top one here. I just loved how beautiful. So next time I frame this one and start completely over, actually I might frame it to where that top bright star is more in the image. So you get kind of more the ethereal feel, because this one just has such a beautiful ethereal feel about it. And I mean, I really remember, like, this may have been 2 nights at the most. I was surprised at how little time I needed to spend on this one to get this kind of image from my attempt. It was just unreal. So let's go ahead and, oh, see, that's the problem. I don't remember how many hours. I'd have to look back. I tell you what, when we're done with the video on some of the ones that I know for sure that I've got the times on, I can look back on my YouTube, or actually if you, it might be easier, probably quicker. If you wanted to go back on my YouTube channel and look at that video of the California Nebula, I know I talk in there about how long it was. So let's go to another recent one while we're just getting started. And hey, Rick, how you do? Are you in Florida now? I did see that you were on your way to Florida, so I'd be curious if you made your way there. So happy to have you with us and join us. We're going to go through some images tonight, so stick along with us. So let's do another recent one while we give a little bit more time to have some other subscribers come in and join in the conversation. So let's go back and let's do, how about the elephant trunk? I remember, oh man, here, let me look real quick. See, if I had double screens, this would all go easier. So this was September 4th of last year. And I remember being absolutely thrilled with this outcome. It was almost like I was like, done, I nailed it. But I know that if I add more to it this coming September, and the processing software is changing every day, right? So there's always this thing of, oh, maybe I can try this new process or this new technique, or watch some YouTubes on how to do this and that and stuff. So this one I feel like can only go up from here. But again, this was one of those ones where the details, I was particularly pleased. Oh, I can't zoom in that far. With this kind of S area up here, every image I've ever tried to get of this target before, that was always very unremarkable, as one of our friends would say. It was unremarkable. It didn't have any kind of structure. It just looked like a giant cloud of, like, a shape of a S of a cloud. It didn't have any kind of definition. So to finally be able to get some really good details on some of the, oh no, I can zoom in. There we go. See, this is a trial and error. I'm telling you, until I get more practiced at this, y'all are just going to have to bear with me. So anyway, that was one spot I was particularly pleased with. Another spot that I've always found very difficult to image about this particular spot in the sky is this structure down here, along here from the elephant trunk. And I know that there are clearer and better images of this out there, like, duh, like I know that, but this was my best, my personal best. I think that I get my personal best award for that, because I didn't see that coming. And then even up in here, I always love this little blue area. I always say the devil is in the details, right? Like these little nuances. But this one right here almost looks like a beam of light, almost like a sun, like a ray of sunlight shining through. And I just can't even, like, I've even like sat and wondered, what would that look like from, say, this area of the nebula? Or this star, like, what would that look like? Would it be humongous? It's just incredible. It's just really neat to think about. So this was another one. And these details down here at the very bottom, this one, it almost looks like a pi symbol in math. I'd never seen this spot of the sky this clear with our own gear. And so this was really like a feather in my cap. I just absolutely loved taking this picture. So let me come back and read the chat, because that's another thing. I'm going to have to kind of go back and forth. Oh, lots warmer than, I don't know, today here it was 79. My car said 79 here. I mean, maybe New Mexico was chillier, but it was 79 today, hence my shoulder shirt. I can finally bust out I can breathe a little bit here. So anyways, so that was that. So now let's go back those are two more familiar targets. You guys have seen both of them. I hope this camera isn't shaking a whole lot. What's great about this little camera is we've taken it on our scooters and it's got amazing stability. So hopefully the shake that is happening, you're not noticing. Aren't the dust structures great here? See, now I need to get in the habit of kind of showing these kinds of things as I go. So this is just a matter of practice and trial and error. I love those dust structures too. Like, how cool did that turn out? I just love it. So, okay, we're going to go to a further back one. I'm going to share with you next. Let me see here. How does stuff like this work? Okay. This is interesting. Solo layout. This is interesting. I don't know what this is going to do now. I kind of messed up, but it's still sharing my screen. So hopefully all of this is going to work. Let me know if you can see this next one, but I'm going to kind of lead into it. So I've not shot this target since this time. And the time on this one, I'll have to look when I open it. But this was a bucket list target for me. And while my picture isn't the most stellar, pun intended, I was so thrilled. And the reason that I haven't shot it again is because we don't have a view of it here. We took all of our gear and went up to a friend's property up in Florissant and shot from there and had a really great view of the south. Here, the south is our worst horizon. We have trees and houses. We do really better with the northeast. Excuse me. With the northeast and east directly is not bad. We can go southeast a little bit, but the west is a little iffy and the south is pretty crummy. So I was just thrilled that this was an opportunity that I was going to get to shoot this one that I've always wanted to shoot. So without further ado, let me see if this works. Tell me if you guys can see that I'm messing with settings here. So this may practice. I need practice. And the only way I'm going to do that is if I just do it, right? Okay. So it is right. Where did it go? Here. I got the Dolphin Head Nebula. Now, while it is not the best quality picture in the world, and there's a lot of problems with it, I'm sorry, I have a drink here. When I get to talk in one of these videos, it's like the first 20 minutes I struggle with this and then it goes away. So I don't know what's up. Let me take a sip. Okay, so while this isn't the greatest image on the planet, let me make sure you guys can see this. Can you see that when I do it that way? If you can, I won't keep continuing doing that. Don't see it yet. Okay, hold on a minute. Let me go back. Let me go back. That may not do what I want. Okay, we'll just go back to this view. But when I'm talking, I may try to bring myself back up to here. Or I could just do this. But then you don't get to maybe see my narration. Okay, we're going to try this. You guys let me know if you can see it now. Dolphin Head Nebula? Anybody? Can you see? I'm leaving it up for a few seconds before I go back and check the chat. So another thing I thought about doing, I'm going to try it. I'm going to turn on my phone and I'm going to watch the chat through my phone. That might help a little bit. So in the meantime, let me check this and see. Yeah, okay, now you can see it. Okay, perfect. Okay, we'll go back to it then. Let's go ahead and bring it back up. And yeah, I'm just going to watch the live with you on my phone, and so I can keep an eye on the chat. And then that way, if you have questions, hopefully that I can answer, or comments that I can respond to, I can just kind of go along with you. So I know that, it's not I don't have this down to an art or a science yet, but hopefully I'll get better with time. Let's turn the volume down just so we don't have any trouble. Let's see. Oh, did it get locked up? Sorry about this, guys. Live. Oh, it won't let me play it. Oh, come on. Oops. There we go. Okay. I've got my chat here now. So cheesy, but I'm doing it this way. Okay, so the Dolphin Head Nebula. I would really love to get more data on this. And my husband and I have talked about this year, grabbing our gear and going down south and going to a dark sky location and taking, I think I might be able to, just depending on the time of year, I might be able to see this one again. It would be really, really great to add to this one. I just loved that I was able to even see the structure kind of up here in the mouth area. If you can imagine a dolphin's face and nose area, I was really surprised that I was able to grab as much detail in this as I could. I really didn't expect to get any. And then the eye, this is what I consider the eye here, down here, this bright star here in the middle. It does just kind of, it fills in the gaps a little bit, but the dolphin head is one that I've always wanted to get. I want to get a beautiful, absolutely stunning. My bar is set very, very high on this one. Time will tell if I'll be able to get to it or not. But you've not shot that yet? Yeah, this is a really, it's a tough location depending on where you are. The further north you are especially in the northern hemisphere, the further south it's going to be. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Oh, my love is in here, James. You think the yellow is the eye? Oh, well, come on. He's such a jokester. That's not the eye. That's the blowhole that you can see through the skull. Hey, MJ Sweeps. Good to see you here. All is well. Oh, nope, we're not. Are you asking if we're doing the Oki Tech Star Party? I'm not familiar with that, but or is that what you're asking if that's what we're going to do? No, we're going to just do the two of us. We just do stuff, the two of us. It's kind of a date thing. It becomes kind of a date thing. Of course, James might disagree with that, but we make it kind of a date. And then we go camping and we have a fire and we just have our whole like fun time together. So, all right. So that's back there. This picture, that's what I was going to show was when that was. When was I said September. Oh, no, this one was October 2022. This one's been it'll be 3 years ago this fall. So that one is, it's due time, right? It's due time. All right. One of my favorites I'm going to show next. This is one of my absolute favorites. This is probably my very, very best image I've ever taken in my life in this hobby, and it was the target I would say that got me into the hobby the most to start with, and that is the Horsehead and Flame Nebula. This one, again, it's like I almost feel like I can't top this one. Like, how in the world am I going to top this? But you know what? I'm going to try. I'm really going to try. But if you go in, this one just has amazing, I pulled amazing detail. And I like I said, I don't remember the amount of time I spent on this. This was days. I know that this one, and this was stacked with years of data. I know that the last time that I worked on this one, I stacked it with previous data from at least 1 year, possibly 2 years prior. So this is a lot of data. I believe I've done a video on YouTube about this one. I'd have to go back and check and look at my playlist and see if it's still there. But this one was my bread and butter. I just love, and this spot turned out so cool. I don't even know how to explain this little area over here. You just start going in and looking at all of these little nuances, like this little, it almost looks like a little caterpillar sitting here in this little cave where this light is coming from, like the light at the end of the tunnel kind of deal. Like, I just love this picture. I need to go for this again this year because that's another one that needs revisiting, but that is one that I'm very, very proud of. All right, let's go back to one that was prior to me being here on YouTube, and that would have been the Lagoon. That one's without stars. We'll go to that one in a minute. That's the one with the stars. This one was also a southern target, and it was one, I know this one, the Lagoon Nebula, is actually in the core of the Milky Way, and it's naked eye visible. So you can see a snail. Yes, my love, it's a snail. It's a snail in the tunnel of life where the light is at the end. So this is my Lagoon, and so this one is a naked eye visible target in the sky. It's in the core of the Milky Way. It's pretty low on the horizon. If memory serves, well, depending on the time of night, the maximum it might get up to is about 25, 35 degrees. It does not get higher than that, at least not from our location. And this was another one that we took up to the mountains with our gear the night that I also shot the dolphin head. And this one, a friend of mine, when I showed it to her, she said it looks like a bat cave and all of like these little black spots are like bats. I just loved her interpretation of this area. Like, I would have never seen that. I don't even really know what I see with this one, but this too was one of those targets because it's naked eye visible. You don't need a ton of time to pull something. This was one night. I mean, I would love to add to this and kind of clear up some of this grainy area over here. And it's got some problems, but you have to, you can't be too hard on the results that you get, because then if you are, you're never going to get past that and set the bar higher for the next time. So someone could open a quartz rock. I love that, JS Wyman. That is actually probably what I would, where my mind would have gone. I wouldn't have seen the bat cave and I wouldn't have seen the bats, but I totally see like the inside of like a geode. Is that what it is? Like, so stinking cool. So yes, the Lagoon Nebula is a fantastic target if you have a view of it. Again, we don't have the view of this target here from home. So let's go to something else now. Let's see what I've got to share. Okay, I've got several here that I want to share. This was the first Orion Nebula I took right after I got my ZWO camera to shoot with. And this one, I was floored with this result. I was totally floored with this result. And the Running Man, obviously you can see the Running Man over here, and then the Des Moines here. It's like this comma shaped one at the bottom. So there's 3 nebulas in this area. And this was just the one that I fell in love with this picture. I love this picture. And then I shot it again and it turned out very, very differently. And I think it was a combination of maybe I didn't use the same filter. Maybe I shot for a different amount of time. Obviously, my processing skills had evolved. Things were different. So it went from this to this. And I love them both. I love how much more of the dust you can see here on this one. And that ethereal, like, what's the word? Like, it's a feeling, right? It gives you kind of like this, it's almost like you can hear the silence. I don't know how else to explain it. I know that I may sound kind of nuts, but when I go back, and I'll show you the differences between the two again. So I'll go back to this one. And what I first really noticed about this one when I did it, one place in this nebula that I always wanted to pull more detail out of was right in this area here. And I love it. Well, and over here too. Look at that. Oh, that is so cool. I forgot how cool that looked with all of this wispy. Looks like it was done with a paintbrush. But I loved kind of this dark nebula structure next to the Des Moines part of the nebula here. And so I really don't remember. We're gonna look at it together. I don't remember what it turned out like on this one. Was it better? Was it clearer? What was it? Let's look. Ooh, that one's creamy. Isn't that creamy? It looks like a milkshake. My milkshake brings. I love them both. It is really hard, but I obviously went for more cool tones on this one compared to the warmer tones on the other. The dust is very cool. MJ sweeps, like, when you see, it's like you don't even know it's there until you start shooting it for hours and hours and hours, and then all of a sudden, like, I didn't know that was there. That's supposed to be just dark and empty, and it's not dark and empty. It's crazy how these turn out. Let's go back in on this one and just kind of scroll around and just take it in for a bit, because one of these pictures, when you're editing, at least like me, when I'm processing and I'm in these, you notice little things like, what is this guy over here? What is that? It looks like somebody blew a hole in a wooden door and the sun is on the other side just piercing into a dusty room. Like, where did that come from? I'd have to look that up and see what that is. It picked up some kind of structure over here on the right. I have no idea what that goes to. Maybe I'll adjust my camera this year and aim to a different spot. We also have the wider scope this year. It'd be great. My goal, I'm going to say it now live on YouTube. My goal is to shoot the Orion Nebula and the Horsehead Nebula in one shot with the wide camera this fall. There, I've said it. We got the rotator for it. I'm doing it. That's all I'm going to say about that. But yes, the Orion, you can't, this is another one that's a naked eye visible, and same with the Horsehead and Flame. So you don't need a ton of time, but you can see, like, you don't need a ton of time to pull stuff out, but you can see what adding to it can do. Obviously, there's not a huge difference between this one and the one that I just had up, but you start looking at this and you start saying, well, yeah, this one doesn't show the dust structure around the outer parts of it nearly as well as this one. And that's what I was focused on. This may have been longer exposures than the more warm reddish one. I don't know for sure. But yes, this is the kind of image that inspires me to get back into it. This is what I was kind of hoping, is that I would do this and I would remind myself of what I've done and what more I can do. And I want to do more. We need to do more. All right. I'm going to show you. This was one that my husband took with the 10-inch telescope back in 2022. This was August 29th of 2022. Look at the triangulum. And because his scope has the spider thingy, is it called spider veins, love? You'd have to remind me if you're still listening. I don't know if you are, but it's got the starbursts around the stars because of that. And so this one, I really was like, this looks like NASA. Like, holy crap, this looks like NASA. Look at this cool little double star right here they're right next to each other. And I think that's a galaxy. Yep, there's a galaxy right next to those. Look at that. How cool is that? And another thing that was hard about the triangulum, especially with my husband's telescope, is that it's just so many stars. Like it becomes hard to edit it to where there's a background and a foreground a little bit because it's so flattened with stars. But I think we did a pretty dang good job on this one. There's another galaxy. Look at that bad boy right there. There's another galaxy right there. I hope you guys can see my mouse. I'm just assuming you can. So flatter me and make me feel like I'm not losing my mind. And I'm looking. Oh, look, there's another one up here, top right. Look at that. How cool is that? Yep. This was one that I was very proud of my husband for sticking with as long as he did to get some really beautiful. And I love the warm and cool tones. This one has a really good display of both warm and cool all in the one galaxy. Like, it's got so much tone to it. It makes it really, really okay. Great. I'm so glad you can see my mouse. Thank you, J.S. Wyman. You are my fan. But there's little, like everything else, there's little nuances. This bright blue cluster over here to the right. Here, I'll zoom in a little more. I wonder if that's like a star cluster, or could that be a bright nebula? Like if our planet was in this galaxy, what would that look like? You know, it's mind blowing to think about. It really is. But this was a great one. Well, speaking of galaxies, I'm going to show you my best ever picture of Andromeda. And again, the Andromeda galaxy that I stacked it with previous years of data. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 3 years in a row that I went for it. So chances are I might go for it again and add to it again. But I do feel like there is my husband has a word for it. Is it like where you can't get it any clearer? There's a term for it. I can't remember the term for it. Maybe he'll chime in. Doesn't matter. But I do feel like there's so much data you can get on a target before it's time to move on and see new things and try something new. So here is my M31, my very best, personal best Andromeda galaxy picture. And I still love this picture with all my heart. I don't even know exactly how to describe it, but I think that as diminishing returns, thank you, my love. It's diminishing returns. See, I need you here. Diminishing returns. So like there's only so much that you can like image before you're not going to notice any more quality like increase in it. So my Andromeda here, every time that I've processed the Andromeda Galaxy, I have really tried to distinguish the difference. How am I going to word this? It's very hard to explain. This is how I see Andromeda. See the blue and teal here, over here? That seems covered to me by these dust lanes here. Like it seems like that's underneath these dust lanes. And this image of Andromeda, especially at both edges of the like the disc part of it, or like if you think of it as a plate, like an oval plate, like both ends of this one, I felt like this stack and processing, whatever I did on it, really showed the depth between the dust clouds here and this bright blue like star nursery underneath. I was very, very proud of this one for that reason. Another thing about this one is it's again one of these that shows off the cool and the warm tones just beautifully. That was always really hard for me to do with Andromeda. With Andromeda, oh, bye, my love. I will. I won't be on here long because I only have 2 hours on StreamYard before it's going to say no more and I have to pay. But yeah, this one is, I don't remember what I was saying, but this one, oh, that's what I was saying. I always had a hard time pulling out the warm versus the cool. And I'll tell you, when you put this one, maybe it's just me, but when you put this one in PixInsight or whatever, and you bring it up, it's green. It's green, and green isn't a color that you just like see out in space naturally. Like, I mean, you might see it in the tail of a shooting star or a comet that has specific gases, but when we're talking about galaxies, that's not really something that you see. And this was just one of those ones I was like, how am I going to pull this out? And I guess I practiced enough with PixInsight that all things got the stars aligned, right? It all kind of added up, and I finally got this image, and I was just so I've tried to beat this one since, and this might be like what my husband was talking about with the diminishing returns. I haven't been able to top this. So what I should do is just try to reprocess it and see if any of my new skills benefit it. But I haven't had any luck. I haven't even had I tried reprocessing this one last fall and it did not turn out good and I gave up. So weird. It's weird how the processing thing can go because you can, here, let me pull myself up while I talk for a bit. So it's weird how these processing things can go because I'm making sure that this is following. Yeah. So because you can absolutely nail an image. I nailed it. I nailed Andromeda. I nailed the horse head. I nailed, I feel like I semi-nailed. I still feel like I can do better on Orion. I nailed the Pelican, which I'll show here in a bit, but I nailed it. And I go back and I try to nail it again and I cannot do it. I don't know why. It's almost like if I got a paintbrush, right, and a canvas and I painted a mountain scene with a river. And then I tried to do it exactly the same again. I couldn't do it. It's weird how that artistic side of our brains doesn't allow. There's some limitations there. At least, I mean, I'm not like an artist. So there's some limitations there. So, all right, let's go back. So let's see what's next on the agenda here. Well, I was just talking about the Pelican, another one I nailed. It's also another one that I've shared here on YouTube. So I'll just go ahead and pull that one up. This one is another feather in my cap. This one, again, I call it creamy. When you come up here and you start seeing some of these details, it's like, it's got kind of a, this isn't exactly milkshake colors like the Orion Nebula was, but it's got like this creaminess to the dark cloud nebula in here. And the one place in this one that was really the nail on the head for me was right here. This area was just so beautiful. And I did some color manipulation because I don't have the proper filters to pull out some of this. I won't say color manipulation. I'll say PixInsight has some like oxygen like that bring out more hydrogen alpha and then oxygen, like it's got some processes that will help bring out some things. So I just kind of worked within the processes to get this really beautiful, almost rainbow look in this guy. I love this one. I don't know if everybody sees this one the same. I see this bright star here. Click it. I see this bright star here as the eye of the pelican. And then you've got the beak of the pelican. And then back here, you just imagine like the wings, like the wing right here coming back. It almost looks like a sitting pelican, if that makes any sense. Like it's perched. It's a perched pelican. And then this upper right-hand corner, that's part of the North American Nebula, which I have yet to shoot with the gear and the filters that I have now. I should shoot it this year. I had a picture I looked at in my computer. Here, I'll come back to me for a second so I'm not just talking. I had a picture in my computer of the North American that I took in between the North American and I think the pelican. I think that's where it is. It almost looks like a cross, like a religious symbol of a cross. And I have that picture, but it's very pink. It's not even red. It's very, very pink. It's got a weird, I didn't love it, so I didn't share it. But I should shoot it again with the stuff that I have now because chances are, oops, I've got too many open here. Let me just close them all and open it again. Sorry. That's how I do. Pelican. So I could shoot it again and get kind of more this bluish. It almost has a sky blue feel to it. And I would like to shoot the North American or that cross section where the dark nebulosity is in between them and get more of this blue tone to come out. So maybe I'll try for that again this year. Let's see what else I have. Oh, I thought I would share the one image, other than eclipses, the one image I've ever attempted, my husband and I ever attempted with we have a solar filter like set up. And so we were trying to shoot the sun. Shooting the sun is hard to do, and it's hard to do for several reasons. And here, let me come back. I'm getting the hang of this, guys. I'm getting the hang of it. Shooting the sun is hard to do. One of the reasons it's hard to do is because it's so hot. You're out there and you're getting burned to a crisp and you're trying to adjust settings and you're trying to look at it. And it's like you've got your solar things on and you're like, are there any sunspots? And it's like, oh, it's just it's a little bit miserable if it's a hot day and you're trying to do it. And sometime, hopefully we'll get back, to doing that. But I'm going to share so don't be too hard on me. This is the only sun shot that I've ever felt even remotely proud of. And I just loved that we picked up some of these. They're not flares. It's not prominences, but like I don't know what the technical term is, but like the flames of the sun, down here in the bottom right. And obviously you can see this one is very grainy, I would say, but you've got these dark spots that suggest to me that those are sunspots or some movement on the sun that we're having. Up here, you see a little bit of detachment of it blowing out some solar stuff, away from itself. This is a tough target. It's almost tougher to shoot the brightest target in our sky than it is to shoot the dimmest targets in our sky. And I learned that. I'd like to get back at it, but it's a tough one to do. And then in the winter, the sun is so far south. At least here in the winter, we have trouble with it's blocked by trees like almost all day from our view here. It's very hard. It's hard to do. So, all right, I'm going to share. How long have I been going here? 38 minutes. I don't want to use up all of my time on StreamYard for the month because I only get 2 hours if I'm not a subscriber, which possibly I'll look into being a subscriber, but I'm not. So I'm going to go for another 10 minutes and then we're going to call it. But let's look at a few more. See if there's any others that you might not have seen. Here's one for you. This was with my husband's telescope. This is another one that I would say is about as good as we can do. But I still feel like there's a touch we could do a little bit better. Look at how the Whirlpool galaxy turned out. Oh, I love this picture so much. My husband did a fantastic job. This was with our 10-inch telescope. You can see this on-edge galaxy right there in kind of, what would that be? The 7 o'clock position, 8 o'clock position. You got a nice little, that might be a galaxy or a nebula there. It almost looks like it could be a double star. Let's see. That looks like another fuzzy galaxy over here to the bottom right. This one I was just so thrilled with. I felt like this, and this one too is another perfect example of the warm part versus the cool part. I also love the purple. I don't even know. It's like this pinkish purple. I got that in my Andromeda galaxy too. These ZWO cameras are excellent for that kind of stuff. You don't see what, MJC sweeps. You don't see what. Elaborate, and I will comment. And then over here, there's can you not see these little galaxies that I'm pointing at? Are they too small? Huh. Is that what you guys are saying? You don't see the picture. Oh, wait. Whoa. Here I am just babbling on. Oh, I see why you don't see the picture. Because I'm not here. Better? Tell me if that's better. I'll wait. Hold on. That looks better, right? Okay. Gosh, it's all of this clicking. I have to click here and then I've got to click back. Okay, so then we're going to start all over with this one because I was pointing at these little galaxies and stuff, and I wasn't paying attention to my phone. So if I'd looked at the phone, I would have seen that it wasn't showing up. So let's just zoom in on this one to start with and look at some of these. I would guess I would call them veins. Blah, blah, blah. You're like, what's she talking about? So let's zoom in on some of these veins. And they might be a little bit blurry on here, but some of these dark, like it's like a vein running through the spiral of this galaxy here. He caught this very, very, I would say clearly. However, I would say that it could be maybe a little bit more clear. It's like I was saying, these purple little nuances, those cameras, they really pick it up. They really pick up the little, like the hot details of the hydrogen alpha in these. It can actually be a little bit tough to work with if you're working in this part of the sky that's heavy on hydrogen alpha. But this was the little edge on galaxy I was talking about down here. Bam, in the bottom left. Yeah, this one is really blue. And actually, that's not just my interpretation of it. You look it up online, and this is one of the most, I think, one of the prettiest, bluest galaxies. You should look at NASA's picture of this. NASA's shot of the Whirlpool galaxy is just unreal. I mean, but I'm partial to ours. So, so we have the edge on galaxy. It looks like a needle. We've got this little guy here under this bright star here. Let's see. There was another one I saw. Well, this might be one, but that could be, I don't know. That could be a double star. That's hard to tell. I just love looking really close in at these. And it's what I do when I process them, right? Oh, there's one down here in the bottom left. Of course, as soon as I click on it, it unzooms it. Bottom left. Let's go over here to the right a little bit and see. Oh, gosh, there's a couple of things over here that definitely could be. That could be a galaxy. One underneath. It's just full of it. And so I do think that if we got more data on this one, we might even be able to pull out some of the further off galaxies that are in there's a lot of them. There's actually surprisingly a lot of galaxies around the Whirlpool. So it's just absolutely unbelievable. Oh, you guys are great. Thank you so much for the kind words and the compliments. Yeah, we worked really hard on some of these pictures, and it does show, like it really does show that we put a lot of effort into, what we enjoy. And it makes me sad we haven't done it for a while, but even just like reminiscing and looking back on these, it's just so great. There was another one I wanted to show. So let's go back into here and look and see which one. Oh, the Pleiades. I was going to show the Pleiades. This is my favorite picture of the Pleiades, where you can get the nebulosity. And It's one of those that this one doesn't have nebulosity from what I understand in the science world. The nebulosity with the Pleiades doesn't come from the stars like other nebulas. The gases aren't put out by the birthing of stars. This is more like there's a dust area in the sky and the stars are passing behind it. So this is what we see. It's almost like if you had a fog machine in front of a bunch of spotlights and you saw some kind of cloudiness, but you also saw these bloated stars behind. That's more what the Pleiades is like. And I got to remember the orientation. There is a tiny galaxy in here that I remember picking up, and I'm pretty sure it's an apparent magnitude of 18. I got to see if I can find it, guys. It's been a while since there it is. There she is. Right up here. I am pretty sure that this galaxy right here is a magnitude of 18 or 16. It's one of the dimmest galaxies I think I've probably picked up in my image with my equipment. Obviously, my husband can pick up some further off things that are dimmer, but the Pleiades it's a tough one to shoot sometimes because you get a glare. I don't know why. I feel like I get a glare, but it was a lot of fun to shoot. Let's see what else. I'm trying to show stuff that I've maybe never shown on here. Have I ever shown you the Soul Nebula on here? Not sure that I have. I think I might have. So here's the Soul. And again, with that wide angle camera this year, I want to get the heart and the soul in one shot. So I am planning that this year. I am planning on shooting the heart and the soul all in one. But this was another one where I used some of the processes in PixInsight to pick up more of the blues and yellows versus the reds and pinks. I just wanted to try something different. And I loved this region down here. It looks a little bit like, fingers reaching up, not dissimilar to the pillars of creation that everybody is very familiar with, which I'll show next, just so you can see what I'm talking about in case you're not familiar with it. Another area I loved in here was this one here. It almost looks like it's like a peak. It's like, obviously it's on its side, but it's almost like a mountain peak. I wouldn't maybe necessarily describe this one as creamy. It's just different details, but the details that I picked up I was very, very pleased with on this one. So on that note, we'll go straight into the pillars of creation. I know that I shared this one here on YouTube back probably last year sometime. This was the one that my husband got. Again, you can see I think it's the spider veins that cause the starburst effect, because it's got the weight, because his is an RC mirror scope. So mine being a glass, mine doesn't have that. So you can see the starburst on the stars in this one. I just couldn't believe that we were even able to see this from home. This was just the coolest. This was just the coolest. I'm not going to lie at all. This was just I was so, so thrilled with this. When did my husband shoot this? Let me minimize it for a second. Let me see. This one he shot July of last year. Oh, it's coming up. Maybe we can add to it because I know we can do better. Maybe he can add to it this summer. Oh, can you imagine if we took the gear down to that dark sky and went for this? But this one also doesn't get very high. It gets high enough to where we can see it here from our house, but it also doesn't get very high. But this is another one I felt like this was kind of a feather in his cap. The fact that he caught this from our home and it looked like this. And you can see what I mean about the fingers coming up. It's got that. It's called the pillars of creation. It's got this. But I will point out something funny about this one. I don't know if you want to see something funny. So over here on the left, do you see this like dark area? And then like above it, there's kind of like this lighter area. If you look at it right, you can see that it looks like a little mouse. My husband calls it the mouse nebula. It looks like a mouse is like overlooking the pillars of creation and his tail like comes down here and he's got his little nose and his little ear. It looks like a mouse. I thought it was the cutest thing. Anyway, I know I'm getting pushed on time. I'm going so long. Let me see. I'm at 50 minutes. Are there any other ones that I need to show? The heart I showed not long ago. I have not showed the West Veil. I should show the West Veil and the witch head. We'll show the witch head. I got this from home, and I was very proud of this one. It's hard to shoot But this is another one. Can you imagine with that wide angle? I'd get the whole thing. Plus, the witch's head, it goes up really, really high, like above her head, like up in here. It goes way higher. And we'd be able to pick up more with that wide angle camera. So the witch's head is a cool, cool one. And I did shoot it from here last. I'm sure I probably stacked it with some previous data. I know it's more than one night of shooting. It's a pretty dim target. But this is a very, very cool one to go for. And so I want to do that again. I've shared the shark on here. We can pull it up real quick. Just as a reminder, I shot this one last fall. This may have been 3 nights worth of data. I do say down here, again, it's got that little bit of a creaminess with the clouds. I was able to pick up some really great detail considering here we're under obviously the Bortle scale is a little bit like subjective, right? But it says that we're at about a 7.2 or 5, something like that. So to be able to get this here, and then this little thing here, is that a galaxy? Because that is the coolest looking galaxy. I don't even know. It almost looks like a bug. It looks like some kind of beetle. It's just hanging out. It's the Beetle Galaxy. I'm sure it's got a name. I'm sure I could look it up. But this is how I interpret my stuff is, oh, that's the Beetle Galaxy. And oh, my husband, that's the Mouse Nebula. Like that's how creative we are. All right, let's see if there's a couple. Oh, I did want to show the West Veil. I love this picture. I got this. This is a combination of more than one night. This may have been partially from the year before. I love this shot. It's another one that I don't know how much better I can improve on it. But this one picked up. I know that I'm pretty sure I shot it for a short time when we were up in the mountains when I got the dolphin head in the lagoon, in part because I could add to what I already had at home. But I really liked this one as well with the stars taken out. It's a cool wallpaper for your phone to have the one with the stars taken out. And I've done that along the way on several of my targets that I've gone for. I've taken the stars out to see. One of them that I did was the lagoon. I took them out of the lagoon before. And then I know I've shown the East Veil on here, but I'll show it again. Actually here, no stars, the lagoon. That's what I was just talking about. And you can see the problems, I think, with this one a little more when you take the stars out. It doesn't have quite enough data on it. It's not bad. You know what it actually kind of reminds me of? There's an episode in Star Trek Voyager where there's like this giant, it looks like a nebula, but it's some kind of entity in space. They talk about it like it's like a whale. Like they don't know that it's living, but it makes you see whatever it is your heart desires the most. So in Voyager, they're all trying to get home because they're stuck in the Delta Cross. My nerd is showing right now, whatever. But it shows them Earth because they're all trying to get home because they're stuck in the Delta Quadrant. And so it's like, and there's only like a couple of crew members that aren't affected. Like the doctor's not affected and like 7 of 9's not affected. But it does kind of look like that. It looks like it could almost swallow you whole, right? Here, let me go back to it real quick. Yeah, it looks like it could almost swallow you whole and like give you your heart's desires just to eat you up and digest you later and kill you. That's not dark or creepy or anything. Let's see if there's any others to share here. I have shared I was going to share the East. Here's the East Veil. Here's my happiest East Veil. I also have a picture of this one on my computer that has no stars in it. I love it, but I am running a little bit tight on time, so I don't want to go too long. I don't want to give away all the goods in one, but the East Veil, this one is also one it's fun to bring out the warm and cool on this one. This one's naturally, it just does it. You can see in single images, you can see the cool tones and the warm tones right there in single shots. This is a great target to shoot for. Very, very cool target to shoot for. There was one more I was going to show. I think there was one more I was going to show. You've seen the heart. I think I shared the bubble, the inchworm. There's someone here. Oh, this is one I haven't shared. This is one of mine. I got the Needle Galaxy with my gear. And it's a tough one to get really, really clear and nice, but I was very happy with this considering what I have. And again, you're running into, oops, hold on. You're running into neat things on these images like so we're already looking at a giant edge-on galaxy, right? And then you come over here and there's another one right here, this little guy here. And then this is definitely this might be a satellite galaxy. Sometimes it's hard to tell if it's how close it is to the main galaxy or not, but the needle is a cool one to shoot. So I think I'm going to leave it there and come back here and talk a little bit more before I take off. I can close my phone now because I'm actually able to look at the chat now. But I hope you guys enjoyed this live and sharing some fun and some of our favorite attempts. It's 9 years in the making. We've been doing this a long time. Obviously, doing it with the domes and the setups we have now is only we're coming up on 4. Well, not even that, because we didn't have my dome built. Oh, we didn't have it up and running until 2022. And then we didn't get his up and running until 2023. So, and I think part of it is when you're working on these things and you're trying to build these things and set up things, it kind of takes the fun out of it for a time. And so but I will tell you, there is something, I know it's a full moon. I'm a little bit disappointed with that, but because we've got a clear sky tonight. But there is something I am going to aim for tonight. There I go again, looking at the kitchen clock when I have a watch on my wrist and a computer right here to tell me the time. Whatever. There is something I want to shoot tonight. And it would only be a single image of it, or maybe a couple of images just to look at, see what it would do stacked. But it's not a nebula. It's not a dark. It's a dim. I don't know how it's going to go, but I'll go ahead and let you know what I'm going to try for. There is a star. It's called T Corona something. Corona Borealis. T Corona Borealis. I think that's what it's called. And it looks like it's in the process of possibly going supernova. And a friend of mine that I don't really even know the guy, we're just friends through astrophotography, he shared a picture that he got of it. And it's nothing crazy spectacular, but it is bloated a little bit, almost like if you were taking a picture of a star and a cloud went in front of it. It's kind of bloated compared to everything else. So it would be neat to get my own image of the before and after of it, especially if it does go supernova and you can see it like with the naked eye or with your gear. And a lot of these, like the West Veil, the East Veil, those are supernova remnants that we're taking pictures of. They're called the East Veil Nebula and they're called the West Veil Nebula, but they're actually supernova remnants. So it'd be cool if I could get kind of the evolution of this. Now, this star is 3,000 light years away, so I have no idea. But science says that there's a decent chance that we could see it sooner than later. And so it'd be neat to get a before picture before the after. So, yep, a flare star. Yep, that's right. That is right, Rick. You guys are so great. I hope that you had a fun time tonight, and I hope you enjoyed this different way of doing stuff. Obviously, I'm always going to have kinks to work out. I just feel like that's just the way I am. I don't know. I'm just fiddling around and messing with stuff. What'd you say here? Thank you for all the hard work you and James put into these pictures. You guys are awesome. Well, thank you so much. We actually went out in the domes yesterday, cleaned off the spider webs a little bit, dusted them off, turned everything on, opened them up, made sure they were still working. There's no wasps' nests in there. So that's a plus, because my husband would never enter them again if that happened. I think if he found a wasp nest in the house, he'd move. Like that's how he'd handle it. So we cleaned them out. We got them better. And so I think I'm gonna open mine tonight and go for T Corona Borealis and see what I can see. It's a full moon. That may be a little tough, but I have to wait until about midnight or after. It's too low in the sky. It'll be over the house later tonight, and it's Friday, so I don't have any appointments tomorrow, so I can stay up and do my thing. But this was a lot of fun. It kind of showed me part of our past. Sometime I should pull out some images from way back, from when we were just starting. I'm talking with a Tamron 150 to 600 lens, a little ioptron guy, star guider, and getting pictures of Andromeda then to now, because or anything from then to now, especially the brighter things though, like Orion and Andromeda and some of those, because we've just leaps and bounds we've made over the last 8 years. In part, but 8 years ago was really when we started, so it's probably really only been about the last 5 that we got really serious. And another thing before I go, see, I keep talking and then they get long. Fine, we'll go an hour, whatever. Another thing we're talking about doing is putting the 8-inch telescope. Our very first telescope that we bought is an 8-inch RC scope, Richie Cretchen. And we didn't use it much before my husband upgraded to the 10-inch, and he got me my little guy. But we're talking about putting the 8-inch in my observatory for a little bit and giving me a shot at taking some deeper in. I would like to kind of go in and on some things and take and some farther off galaxies. It's a 1600 millimeter. Mine's a 568, so it would give me about triple the field of view, and so it'd be a lot of fun to play with. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But thank you guys so much for being here and for hanging out. It was a lot of fun to share some of my favorites, our favorites from not even all that long ago. So, and I do feel like there is something to be said about the nicer, warmer. Even yesterday, we're out in the domes, and I mean, I had a jean jacket on, but it wasn't cold. It's just so much harder to go out there when you're cold and it's snowy and it's a mess. So maybe just kind of coming out of the season will help us, re-enter a new season of some astro shooting this year in 2025. So thanks again, everybody, for being here. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends. And if you get images you want to share with me, whether it's of this T Corona Borealis, or if you're chasing comets, or of the moon, or whatever, and you want me to see, or the sun, whatever, send them to me at thebipolarastrophotographer@gmail.com. I'd love to see them. I love to see the universe through everyone's lens, and that includes yours. So, all right. Thanks so much, J.S. Wyman. You take care too. Thank you so much, Rick and MJ Sweeps. And I know Nate's going to be mad that he missed this one, but he's really usually good about commenting on them. So he'll catch it on the replay, and I'm sure I'll hear from him as we go through. So you're very, very welcome. This was my pleasure. Thank you for being here. You guys are the ones that make it fun. I don't see myself wanting to do it without at least a few of you guys in here to kind of enjoy it with me, because that's the only way it makes it fun, is having subscribers here who have the same kind of passion for it as we do. And hopefully that passion's coming into a new phase for us. So let me see if I can figure out how to end this with everything I've got set up. But I felt like this went pretty well. And hopefully we'll see each other sooner than later. Keep looking up. And remember, self-care is not selfish. Bye now.